Good morning. Welcome to the Sunday chat, or if you're watching in the afternoon or evening, whatever time, I'm Jan. I love to help people save money and more. Thank you so much for being here. If you're brand new here, I really appreciate you. And if you've been here a while, I really, really, really appreciate you too. Today, we're going to talk about simple kitchen problems and their solutions. So I decided to bring up some common problems, and I'm going to include this video file to go with it. Hang on one second. Here's a solution. Not that long ago, I had kind of a really not pleasant experience with breakfast sausage. You know, the frozen kind. I was super excited about having it. I haven't had that since forever ago, and it was one of my favorite brands too. I was so disappointed when I bit into one of them. It had like a large hard chunk of, maybe it was gristle or bone. It just was, to me, a personal turnoff. So that was the problem. Wanting something a little smoky to go with my weekend breakfast eggs. I'm like, I'm turned off from that, but I still want something smoky. I didn't want to do bacon. I didn't want to do those little faking bacons either, that type of thing. I didn't want to do any bacon. I said, well, what else can I do? So that was the problem, but I came up with a solution. I did. I came up with a solution that is probably right under your nose, probably right in your either refrigerator or freezer. And let's see what I did. And it was a great idea. And you will never believe what that is. Yes, that's exactly what I did. I took 2 frozen hot dogs. I cut them up into very thin slivers. I kind of blackened them, caramelized them, and sauteed it type thing, in the frying pan, the skillet. I put it to the side, and I had that on the side as a substitute for my formerly used breakfast sausage link. Can I tell you something? It was really good. It was really, really good. So think of this if you run out of your favorite sausage link that you've never had a bad experience with, like I did, but you just run out of the product. If you happen to have 1 or 2 frozen hot dogs, cut them up thinly, caramelize them, put it to the side. Did the trick for me anyway. It really, really worked. So now okay, so we're going to get into the next problem. Sorry about the little bit of a technical problem, but that's bound to happen every once in a while with technology and with me forgetting to switch the button properly. I think this time I'm not going to blame technology. This time I accept the blame. Here we go. Look over to the side. Okay, problem. All right. How does a person feed a family of 4 breakfast if they only have 2 eggs? Well, you can go a couple of routes. One could be the French toast route, whereas you can use those 2 eggs and use up some milk. Some people even get by with 1 large egg, milk, a little cinnamon, cap full of vanilla, whatever you normally use in your French toast mixture. And you can make 6 French toast. People can share them. You can just stretch out the breakfast that way. Or better still, you don't even have to touch an egg. You don't even have to touch your bread, because if funds are low and you're running low on everything, if you happen to be able to know how to make pancakes from scratch that doesn't even require eggs, learn how to do that. Or if you don't want to bother with that, always keep on hand those boxes of complete pancake mix. Perfect for stretching out when funds are low and you have to feed a multiple amount of people breakfast. And you don't have to use eggs. You can just get by with some wonderful pancakes. Okay, so let's see if this works. Okay. You may see some strange switching of the pictures, but that's okay as long as your message gets across. Here's my suggestion at the beginning of the month, or whenever you do your grocery haul or look in your pantry. Do you happen to have what it takes to make your own pancake mix? You can make it in advance. Look it up. I believe I did a video about this about a year back, but many other people have. Look that up, cost you nothing. You probably have all the ingredients already. You can make ahead of time, put it away. It's all ready for you. Just use it. And there goes a wonderful breakfast, lunch, or dinner on the cheap when you are low on things like milk and you are low on things like eggs. You cannot, for whatever the reason is, cannot either get to the grocery store or you just don't have the money until you get paid the next time. This is very common for 60% of Americans that live paycheck to paycheck. But there are solutions. French toast, it's up to you. Next problem. No fresh onion, no fresh garlic. The great news is we can always buy garlic that's prepared in the jar and use that as a swap out for the fresh chopped garlic. Or you can use garlic powder, or you can use garlic salt. Same thing goes for the onions. You have options. Onion powder, dehydrated onion flakes. You could work with that. You don't have to run to the grocery store just to get the fresh onion. Now, if you enjoy the feel and the chew and you happen to have a tomato and you could use the onion flavor and stuff like that, chop up tomato in small pieces, you still get a little bit of a chew. So swap out a vegetable that you do have on hand and use those spices or herbs or whatever you want to call them. So there. Okay, so let me get back again here. Okay. Yeah, you don't have to have fresh onion all the time, even if a recipe calls for it. You have other options, which hopefully you plan to have, just happen to have them in your pantry already. Dehydrated onions, onion flakes, onion powder. If a recipe calls for garlic and you don't have any garlic, anything, including garlic powder, which could be a little bit expensive, swap it out and just use a little bit of onion powder. It's okay. There's just such a slight difference in flavor, in my opinion. So, yeah, we could easily solve that problem right away. Hang on. Next problem. Beef crumbles are too expensive to buy. Hello, bird clock. Beef crumbles are too expensive to buy. You better believe it. I still don't understand why people buy already done up beef crumbles. We could do that ourselves. We could do it with ground turkey. We could do it with ground beef that we've saved money on, got at a discount at a better price. Where you go home right away, take care of that, make the packages, put them in the freezer. Problem solved. I'm sorry. Beef crumbles already done up. It's just out of my league anyway. Honestly, a lot of people, they wonder why they're not stretching their grocery budget as much as possible. Yes, there are times you want convenience foods. I do get that. But who's to stop us? We are the CEOs, and I say this all the time. We are the CEOs of our kitchen. Do you know what I did earlier today in my case? Okay, I said, okay, because in real time, I'm taping this in about the middle of January. I said, you know what? I'm going into my active freezer, okay, and I want to plan ahead and schedule ideas for meals. It doesn't mean absolutely on Monday I'm going to have it. I want to have ideas of meals. So, and then I went into my active freezer and I was pleasantly surprised to see that I was actually ahead of the game, but I am still choosing to manufacture some more of my own homemade meals, pack them up, put them in the freezer, convenient. But we're going to talk more about that momentarily. So let's go on. It's just silly, in my opinion. It's just ridiculous. Next problem. I ran out of cinnamon sugar. But you happen to have, here's the solution, white sugar. You happen to have ground cinnamon. Why don't you check it out, eyeball it, put it together. Voila. Instant cinnamon sugar. Don't need to buy cinnamon sugar. You really don't. You really don't. If you want to, be my guest, but you don't need to buy cinnamon sugar. Okay. Problem, more month than money. Well, keep listening to this channel and Okay, a little self advertising. I talk all month long, mainly about saving money and more on this channel. I'm not the only channel that does that. That would be rude of me to act as if. But I do emphasize that. And I also upload on a daily basis. But you know something? I do have a bad habit. I really, really have one bad habit. You know what the habit is? I always forget to mention to do this. So I'm going to advertise for me here. Yippee! I actually remembered to remind folks to subscribe or hit the like button right this instant if you like this kind of content. YouTube will have no idea if you like it or not if you just don't go, boom, just saying. Thank you. All right, let's continue. First of all, that should help you get through the month, but many people have more month than money for grocery shopping. So the best thing we could do, solution, first of all, shop at home, head for your own pantry, use up what you have. Don't just look at it and go, oh, it's so cute. No, that is what your pantry stockpile, your refrigerator, your freezer, it's all the same thing. It's just in different forms. One is an active pantry, one is for longer term stuff you put away. It's all yours and it's for you. It's yours for the taking. That's the big solution. The big solution is to be sure to stockpile gradually, little by little, for people on low incomes especially. Just do it as a habit and then that problem will be gone. Okay, just like we get up every single day and one of the first things we do besides make our beds, we like to get up and brush our teeth. That's just something we do by rote. It is just normal. If you can get, you, myself, when I say you, I mean all of us, if we can get into the habit that every single time that we have a grocery haul to pick up a couple of things to add to our stockpile, to our pantry, to the part of the pantry that things can be held a little bit longer, we are so ahead of the game. Why would I want to pay tomorrow's prices? People keep thinking, oh, the magic cloud is going to make tomorrow's prices everywhere get lower. I'd rather not take a chance, and I highly doubt it, but that's my opinion. Don't base it on what happened with the eggs. Don't base it on what happened with other things, because there were very specific reasons why the price of eggs went down. Okay? Just saying. This is why I listen to reports and I write all of this stuff down, and it's really, really important. Hang on. Even though you may have not so much cash, the great news is you have something to eat for yourself and for your family, and that's really important. The other thing is to shop at home, and I'm going to look down, shop at home and head for pantry staples such as rice, pasta, tomato sauce, canned tuna or Spam, and get creative. Absolutely. Absolutely. Get creative. You could do a lot of stuff. You could do a lot of meals with that stuff. Okay, next problem. Frozen entrees are expensive, but really convenient and delicious. Okay, I have to stop it right there. I myself fell victim to that. Well, I'll call it victim, but there was no victim. It was just making stupid decisions because sometimes we make stupid decisions. That's life. When I noticed that I was buying single serve frozen lasagna, I haven't bought one in over a year. In over a year, I refuse to ever do that again. Not that they weren't delicious, but they were costly. But why did I buy it? I bought it for those nights or days when I'm like, I just don't want to think of it. I want my pasta, but I don't want to have to boil pasta. You know something? Now, what I do is I am the CEO of my kitchen. I choose. Big deal. Once every so often, I'll make a big old pot of pasta and I'll just get my little trays, like I mentioned earlier, and I'll just fill up my individual trays, okay? And then I put my own sauce on it, whether I make it myself, I have some left over, or I get some jarred sauce that I happen to buy on sale. Always remember that trick. On sale, when they go on special, put them away. Ladle the sauce on top. grab some shredded mozzarella cheese or your favorite topping, which might be a vegetable topping. Okay, because some people have crumbles of either ground beef or turkey. Take down the crumble, sprinkle them on top. You see where I'm going with this? Pack it up, label it up, freeze it up, voila. I was paying close to $4 or $4.99 per entree. That's just simply ridiculous. Not to mention they were really kind of salty. They were really salty. I have to admit that. So I'm just saying. Anyway, let's get back to this. Hang on. Okay, would be nice if I played it. Hang on. Oh, come on. What's the prob? Hang on. Chunk of maybe it was gristle or bone. It just was to me a personal turnoff. Oh, okay. So that was there. I'm so sorry. Okay, let's go back to it. I'm sorry, it was a technical issue that brought me all the way to the beginning for some reason or another, but that's actually okay. It was pretty much a done deal at that point. So we'll just let that little technical problem go. But there are problems and there are solutions. And half the time, I think we make bigger deals over things. Let me go back to my notes to see what we have missed. Okay, I did mention about the frozen entrees. Yeah, that was pretty much a done deal. No wonder it reverted back to the beginning like that. Okay. So there are ways and there are ways. What ways are you possibly leaking money from your food budget? Examine it. Today, literally today, I am absolutely going to spend about 2 hours, maximum 2.5 hours in my kitchen just to make my preps for the next week and a half to 2 weeks. Done deal. Nothing is nicer than knowing that food is waiting for me in the freezer and for my family. I could say this with great confidence. Food in the freezer is money in the bank. You don't have to rely on the grocery store's version of frozen entrees. And that's huge. That is a huge thing to remember. I'm just saying, you know what? We really need to act more like this lady does. Okay, I'm going to come back by myself. Here you go. Thank you so much for being here. If you enjoy content such as this, especially on a Sunday, I like to make my Sunday shows a little bit more special than the rest of the week. The rest of the week shows my messages are pretty good, but on a Sunday, that's like kind of the day when a type of time of the week when people are more like grounded, where they just want to hang out and maybe get a little bit ahead of themselves and mentally and physically prepare for their week ahead. So thank you so much for your time. Have a great day. Take good care of yourself and your lovely family.